All right guys, welcome back to another healthy dessert recipe video. You guys know they're my fave, they're your fave too. I am going to also leave my healthy dessert ebook down in the description box. It is free for you to download. You get all my top healthy desserts. With that being said, let's go and make my top desserts or some of my favorites for the fall time. So the first healthy dessert we're making is this pumpkin skillet cookie. So I am starting off by using an egg. If you are vegan, you can use a flax egg. Then I'm adding in some pumpkin puree. Make sure to get pumpkin puree, which is just pure pumpkin, not pumpkin pie filling. It's got tons of beta carotene, antioxidants, so good for you. And then I'm adding in some nut butter. You can do almond butter, cashew butter, whatever nut butter you have on hand. It's gonna add not only some healthy fats, but make it really moist and fudgy. And then I'm going to be adding in some maple syrup as well as some coconut oil. To that, I'm adding in a splash of vanilla, and then I'm just going to stir that up until all of our wet ingredients are smooth. And what I like about this recipe is that it is a one bowl recipe. It comes together really easy. All you do is mix all of the wet, and then we're going to be adding in the dry. Be sure to definitely melt your coconut oil so that it definitely incorporates really evenly throughout our wet ingredients. So then to our wet ingredients, I'm going to be adding in some almond flour. Almond flour is really rich in vitamin E. It's got protein, healthy fats, which makes this recipe not only delicious, but satisfying and nourishing as well. I'm adding in some pumpkin spice, but if you don't have pumpkin spice, you can do just cinnamon, as well as some baking soda. And then you're going to fold the rest of these dry ingredients into your batter so that we get a nice cookie dough. To that, I'm adding in some dairy-free, sugar-free chocolate chips. These are unsweetened. The only ingredients are cacao and cacao butter. So I'm folding those in, and then I'm going to be transferring that to my skillet. Now I am using a mini skillet here, so my skillet is 6 inches big. If you use one of the larger skillets, they usually are 12 inches, so you would need to double this recipe. Otherwise, if you're using a mini skillet or a 6-inch one like me, you just make this recipe as you see in the description box, and that will be enough. Spreading that out and then topping it with a few more chocolate chips, and we're going to be placing that in the oven to bake at 350 degrees for about 18 to 20 minutes until you get a delicious, fudgy, moist cookie. And as always, all the measurements will be in the description box below. Honestly, one of my favorite things, skillet cookies, one of my favorite things in general. We added a pumpkin twist for fall. So delicious, moist, gooey. Next up, we're making an apple crisp, which is definitely one of my favorite fall desserts. So I'm starting off by cutting up 3 apples. You can use your favorite apples of choice, but I do recommend either a Macintosh, a Pink Gala, a Fiji, Ambrosia, basically anything but a Granny Smith. Granny Smith will definitely be more sour. I like to keep the skins on because the skins have so many vitamins, minerals, and nutrients. Also adds a ton of fiber, which is great for gut health. So I like to keep the skins on, but if you don't like that, you can definitely peel your apples. But for some added health benefits, I like to keep them on. So we are going to chop up our 3 apples into small chunks. So go ahead and just cut them all up until you get small chunks. You can even do a mix of apples with whatever you want. Going apple picking is also really fun this time of year. So if you've gone apple picking, you've got a ton of apples, this is a great way to use some of your apples. I've even had this apple crisp for breakfast. So I'm gonna go ahead and add in all of my apples just into a large bowl so that we can make the rest of our filling with our apples. So to my apples, I am going to be adding in the juice of half a lemon. This is so delicious on the apples. It makes them not only soften, but it's gonna help the rest of the ingredients we're gonna add on top really go together. And then I'm going to be adding in a couple tablespoons of tapioca flour. You can also use arrowroot starch if that's what you have, but using either tapioca or arrowroot is one of my secrets to getting a delicious apple crisp, along with some vanilla and some cinnamon to the apples themselves. Now what the tapioca or arrowroot does, depending on which one you use, is it allows the apples to get soft and jammy, which is what we want. It keeps them from not drying out, but allows them to get nice and soft. So tossing that together until everything is coated with the vanilla and the arrowroot and the cinnamon. Then I'm going to be transferring our chopped apple filling into the base of a pie dish. And I'm using just a Le Creuset pie dish. Mine's 8 inches wide, and I'm just filling it and then pressing it down to cover any gaps. I'm going to use the same bowl to make our topping. Of course, why not minimize dishes? So I'm using some almond flour, some arrowroot, some coconut sugar, some cinnamon, some coconut oil, as well as some slivered almonds for some crunch. And then all I'm going to do is stir that together until everything is nice and combined and everything just gets a little bit more crumbly. So you want the texture to be a little bit moist from the coconut oil so that we can crumble it on the top. So it's gonna look something like this when you've mixed it all together. And then you can go ahead and transfer that crisp mixture to the top of the apples, and I'm just distributing it evenly with a spoon to ensure there's no big clumps and all of the apples get covered. Honestly, guys, this is looking delicious. Me doing this voiceover, I already want to make the apple crisp all over again. And then once that's done, we're gonna go ahead, pop it in the oven, 350 degrees for 35 to 40 minutes, and you have this wonderfully golden apple crisp. Guys, I'm definitely team apple crisp over team apple pie. I like to finish it off with some dairy-free vanilla ice cream. This is a cashew-based one. It's my favorite from So Delicious. A little bit on there. Oh, so good. Gluten-free, dairy-free, paleo, grain-free, delicious. I'm drooling just watching it, guys. So I hope you guys make this recipe and definitely tag me when you do. And then we're making some cashew caramel clusters, another good one. Honestly, I was inspired by this after I went to Banff, and in all those like fudgeries, you always see like clusters with caramel and cashews. And so when I came home, I was inspired to make my own. So we're gonna make the caramel first with some coconut oil, some coconut sugar, and a dash of vanilla. And we're gonna heat this up on the stove until everything is nice and melted. Then once it is boiling, we're going to go ahead and add in some sugar. So it's gonna take a few minutes to boil. Once it is boiling, just stir it around for a couple minutes, add in the almond milk, and then you're going to turn the heat down. It's going to bubble, as you can see, and you're going to stir it. It's gonna thicken within a few minutes, but you wanna make sure that the heat goes down to low, and then as you can see, it gets nice and syrupy and nice and thick. So then I'm gonna add in a cup of cashews. Now, if you don't like cashews, you can definitely swap for this recipe for anything you like. You can do pecans here. That would be really yummy. You could do hazelnuts, you could do peanuts, almonds, kind of whatever nut you want, but I definitely love the cashew combo. So we're gonna toss the cashews in our little caramel sauce. They're gonna get some caramel flavor on them. And then I'm going to just scoop out our caramel covered cashews, say that 3 times fast, into some silicone molds, and then we're gonna be pouring chocolate on the top. So this made 6 large clusters for me. If you wanna make more, you can definitely double up this recipe too, or you can have it if you only want a couple. Oh, I lied, it made 8. And so this one made 8. If you wanna double it, it'll make 16, or you can half it for 4. So then I just took a 1/4 cup of melted chocolate chips, and I'm drizzling a couple tablespoons on the top of each of them, and then we're gonna allow the chocolate to harden in the fridge. I like to use an unsweetened chocolate. It's just cacao and cacao butter, so I drizzle that on the top just to kind of keep it low sugar, but just drizzling on the top. Very simple, guys. I like really easy desserts that taste good. Pop them in the freezer, 20 minutes, finishing them off with some salt if you like. I like the combo of salted caramel clusters. Yum. Once they are frozen, after 20 minutes, they will be done. Pop them out of their mold. So good. Had the last one last night. I keep them in the freezer. Perfect little sweet treat. You got caramel, salt, chocolate, cashew, everything you could want in a little fall treat. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to tag me when you make these recipes on Instagram so that I can share them. If I had to pick a favorite, honestly, I love the apple crisp. I had it for breakfast this morning. I love the pumpkin skillet cookie, either one with a little bit of ice cream too, some like dairy-free vanilla ice cream, delicious. And of course, the clusters are that perfect little something when you just want a little something. You know what I mean? I will also leave my last healthy dessert video here on the screen so you can check that out after this video, get lots more healthy desserts, and honestly realize that you can have desserts that are good for you, full of good nutritious foods that, you know, honestly taste like dessert too. So with that being said, I will see you guys in my next video. Bye, guys.